Going on, everybody? Welcome back to Coffee and Headphones. My name is Caleb,
My name is Trevor.
and today we are here to talk about round two of the NBA playoffs. This is a podcast where brothers talk about brother things. You can find us everywhere. By everywhere, I mean Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Coffee and Headphones Pod. Trevor, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good, bro. I started off my morning as everybody wishes to on hold with the bank for an hour, so that was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, so as we talked about in the last episode, I just moved into a new apartment, new city,
hmm
and I went to do laundry last Tuesday, I think. Yeah, 8 days ago, and they double charged me for loading up my account. You know me, like I don't got money like that right now, so I was like, hey, yo, I don't need to be double charged for this. So I contacted the bank last week, like a week ago today, and I was on hold for a bit, and then they were like, "Oh, you have to talk to the merchant." So then I called the merchant. I was on hold for a bit, and they're like, you got to send an email to the refund department." I sent an email to the refund department, didn't hear anything. Sent a follow up the next day, didn't hear anything. Called them again on Friday, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can't do anything. You gotta talk to your bank."
Mm.
So I called the bank. Well, actually, I sent them another email and I was like, yo, what the heck? You asked for screenshots. You can clearly see I was double charged and only one of those payments went into my account. But whatever. I called the bank again today. I was on hold for literally an hour just for the dude to be like, oh, yeah, sorry, we can't do anything. You have to wait 30 days before you can, like, demand a whatever it's called. I forgot. And I was like,
Nice.
yeah, I was like, bro, are you serious? It's been like 4 hours of my life trying to get this sorted. Like, come on now.
The good
So
old
dude,
fashioned
dude
runaround.
calls me back like 10 minutes later and he's like, hey, I'm sorry. That information is not entirely accurate. Our policy has changed. I was like, oh, word? Okay. So let's do this then. So then he walks me through like what I need to send and everything. So I send it off and then he's like, now it can take up to 120 business days. I was like, bro, the whole reason I'm doing this is because I'm not trying to destroy my credit. So I still got to make this payment. He's like, unless you want the interest charge. I'm like, no, obviously I don't. That's why I'm calling you. I wouldn't have wasted 4 hours of my life. So that was a great beginning to today. Um, but yeah, everything's cool now. I've done what I can. Thank God I had the money to at least pay off the credit for now, and maybe I'll get reimbursed in 4 months. So we'll see. But yeah, what'd you do today?
Uh, Nothing like that.
That's
My
good.
my lawnmower broke yesterday, so
Yeah.
I was trying to find a lawnmower today, and looks like lawnmowers are expensive if you guys didn't know.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, that's it. And I didn't deal with the good old fashioned runaround from the bank and a laundry person. But sounds like you need a new bank, buddy.
This is my credit card bank. So this isn't like
Mm,
my main bank. And I just opened up with them in January, I think, or February.
gotcha.
So I don't know. Like they've been fine, but that's ridiculous. Like my main bank is Scotia. Anytime I have any problem, they're right on it. Like they help me out.
hmm
So that wasn't something I'm used to. I didn't love that, but hey, man, what can you do? And then I had the same kind of run around earlier with a different company. So that's neither here nor there. But hey, bro, all in all, it's a beautiful day. We have had some phenomenal series so far in the second round. I'm so excited to talk about it. I say we start with the Miami Heat being up 3-1 against the Knicks. At the time of recording this, it is Wednesday. They play tonight. This will be uploaded tomorrow. So call it now. Do you think that the Heat finish the series tonight in Madison Square Garden, or what you think?
I think they finish it in six.
This would be game five, though.
I know. I think that the Knicks are going to pull something out somehow. Um, it is in Madison Square Garden. They are in desperation mode. I think that the Heat will win for sure, but I think they'll win in six, not five.
Okay. So I could see we'll have to talk about Jimmy Butler in a second here, but I could see maybe Jalen Brunson having a big game tonight. But more realistically, I can see a Jimmy Butler Madison Square Garden signature game than anything else. And I do think that the Heat will close it out tonight, especially if you watch Game Four. The Knicks were toast, bro. They're cooked. Like Julius Randle said, maybe they want to win more. That's not really what you want to hear from your highest paid player, especially watching the lack of effort with that guy. Like he had a decent box score in Game Four, but throughout the playoffs and throughout his playoff career, especially in New York, it's been trouble for him, bro. Like he can't finish, he can't shoot those contested middies that sometimes he makes and sometimes he doesn't in the regular season. It's like they're all bricking in the playoffs. And
He's
I
a
think
great player, but is he a great leader? That's the question.
it
And it's
doesn't
like you
seem
have
like it.
your best player not being your leader. It seems like the leader's Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, no. Jalen Brunson definitely has become that leader, and you even saw it throughout kind of the regular season when Julius Randle was injured at the end of the year.
Hmm.
Jalen Brunson stepped up big and helped them really like leapfrog over the Heat and the Nets to end in that 5 seed. They're the 5 seed, right? Yeah, and then that 5 seed, and that's really a credit to him. But like even Jalen Brunson, man, he's playing well, but like he's not playing great enough to carry the whole team. You know, like it can't be one person, especially someone like in his first season who was supposed to be the second, third option on this team.
Not
Um,
against Sammy Butler.
Not against Hemi Butler, who we need to talk about. But bro, what is with my lighting right now? I'm like ghostly white. Do you see this?
Yeah, it looks like it's coming from your window.
Yeah, I don't know. I can plug in this light maybe.
I can fix the Knicks' problems for them.
Oh,
2 words. Derrick Rose.
oh man. You think so?
I do. I think Tibbs needs to put in Derrick Rose. Why not at this point?
Why not at this point? D Rose said that he's gotten better this year, despite not playing.
I believe it. I mean, the lands of what ifs, D Rose is on the top of that list.
Okay. Jimmy Butler,
All right.
man.
Jimmy Butler,
Uh,
baby.
the only game that the Knicks have won in this series is the one where Jimmy didn't play. Not a coincidence. Jimmy has been carrying hard on the offensive and defensive end. This isn't anything new with him. We've seen the last since he's gotten to Miami, really, in the playoffs, except for that shortened off-season year. Um, he carries them time and time again. But the difference in this series is, unlike the first series against the Bucks, Jimmy's not dropping 40, 50 pieces. It's Jimmy. He's still their leading scorer, I think, in every game he's played, but he's getting others involved. The assist and the ball movement, like the passes completed, are through the roof when Jimmy's out there. And it's not just Jimmy, it's Kyle Lowry, it's Bam being aggressive now, it's Kevin Love, it's Max Strus, it's Gabe Vincent. They're all finding their stroke. And I think it's kind of one of those things where you look at Jimmy's career and you think maybe he's a borderline Hall of Famer, right? He's been to the finals, he's been to the conference finals twice. If he goes back to the finals this year, and especially if he gets his ring, I think undoubtedly in everyone else's eyes, he becomes a Hall of Famer. He's already that for me. Like I watch him play and I see how he carries a team outside of statistics. But I think if you give him that ring, what more could you ask for? He's a 5-time All Star, 6-time All Defensive player. He didn't make it this year, which was kind of weird, but we'll get to the defensive teams in a little bit. But what do you think about how Jimmy's been this series and this playoff run so far?
I think he's been Jimmy Butler.
You're gonna have to say more than that.
I mean, anybody that has watched him play before, especially in the playoffs, expects this from Jimmy Butler. It may be a shock to media, to casuals, whatever, but this is Jimmy Butler at his best. And he has gotten his team going, which was a huge necessity. But also, they've done a lot on their own, too. You can get them involved, but they got to make the shots. You can give them confidence, but they got to make the shots, right? So, Kyle Lowry looks like he's not an 80-year-old man
Yeah,
anymore, which he looked like for most of the
Raptors Lowry
season.
right now.
Yeah, he's playing well. Kevin Love, who is an 80-year-old man, does not look like it right now. Kevin Love is playing out of his mind. Without Kevin Love, the Heat aren't doing this. And yeah, Jimmy Butler is hard carried, but it is 5 men on the court at all times. So I mean, Jimmy's
But
playing well.
yeah, no, go ahead.
Hall of Fame, maybe. I
Yeah.
love Jimmy, I do, but Hall of Fame is, I mean, maybe they put anybody in the Hall of Fame, so why not Jimmy? Jimmy should make it over a lot of these other guys.
Yeah.
So I could see it for sure.
But you think with the ring, it's like no question.
It's solidified with the ring. Yeah, I think it has to be. Because they're gonna put Kyle Lowry in there, so why not Jimmy?
Yeah. And if Lowry's a
A
two-time
much
champion,
better
especially.
player. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think the thing with Jimmy, bro, is like you're watching him play, and to your credit, like other guys are making shots, but he's drawing the double team and the triple team. Like he said, he's the best effing player in the league. Double team, triple team, it don't matter, right? And that's true. Like you see him, they're playing Jimmy kind of like, and I don't want to get carried away here, so please don't misinterpret this, but kind of like how the Knicks of old used to play Jordan, where
Yeah.
they would send all of their wing defenders at him and then just be like anyone else. Paxton hit a shot, Kerr hit a shot, anyone else hit a shot, right? And that's how Jimmy has been kind of with like the Caleb Martins and the like Kevin Loves, like you're saying. Even Cody Zeller, who looks like an 80-year-old man, but somehow isn't, is getting minutes in the playoffs. This guy hadn't played in like a year and a half. And he was just picked up off the scrap heap like a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
He's getting real rotational minutes. And I think it's a credit, obviously, to Coach Spo as well. I don't want to overlook him. He's been the best coach in the playoffs, definitely. Outcoached Bud, and he's outcoaching Tibbs pretty easily right now. But at the end of the day, big time players make big time plays. And I can see, like right now, bro, it's hard not to imagine a world where the Heat go back to the finals, honestly.
Jeez. Okay.
Who do you have beating them?
The Sixers.
Okay, so let's talk about that. They went up 3-2 last night, which was a bit of a surprise to a lot of people, but you had called Sixers in 5. Obviously, now it would be 6, earliest 7, possibly. How do you feel right now about your prediction and just how your home team is playing?
I don't think people understand how much I dislike Boston and the 76ers. If both teams could lose, that'd be wonderful. But let's face it, there are two amazing players on both sides of that series right now. And Joel Embiid, James Harden are outplaying Jason Tatum. Maybe not Jaylen Brown, but Jason Tatum. And I don't know, I said this last time, and I did get some text about it, but Boston is going to be Boston of new, not the old Boston when it was the 40s and 50s and they were winning everything. It is the new Boston where we get close, but we're not going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that, at some point, as great of a player as he is, has to fall on Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
It has to.
Yeah, I agree.
That's your number one. That's your leader. I mean, it falls on Jokic, right? It falls on LeBron, falls on Steph. It's got to fall on Jason Tatum. And we can use he's young thing for a long time. But you saw it with Luka this year. And Luka's younger, I think.
I think they're the same age. I think they're both 24.
I mean, if we're going to hold Luka to a standard with the team he has, we definitely need to hold Jason Tatum to that standard. Yeah. And the Sixers as a whole are outplaying the Celtics. Tyrese Maxey just had like 30 points or something.
Tyrese Maxey had his best playoff game.
PJ Tucker is the X factor, man. PJ Tucker is amazing, and I will say this for life. He is one of the most underrated players. He's not gonna. It's huh?
Here's a name for you. Here's a guy who played with PJ Tucker and James Harden on those Rockets teams, Danielle House. You remember that guy? He just came
I
out of
do.
nowhere and had an impactful game yesterday. It's like game five in all of these series. A coach will just throw out someone who's not been playing the whole playoffs and they do something big. You see it. You saw it in the Lonnie Walker game, right? You've seen it throughout the playoffs. Like just a random role player will come
And
out.
you saw LeCap saying how he knew Lonnie Walker was gonna have a big game.
I
That's
didn't. I
ridiculous.
didn't see that.
But that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I mean, I think the Sixers are outplaying. I think um, the Celtics are being outcoached, and
Yeah,
this is something
by
we've talked
Doc
about.
Rivers.
Yeah, but Joe Mazzulla inherited a great team,
Yeah,
and they're doing the same thing they did last year. They're going to fall short again. Joe Mazzulla can't call timeouts when timeouts are supposed to be called. He said he wanted two going down the stretch. He had to. He didn't
can't use
call them,
either.
and that overtime loss to the Sixers.
Mhm.
And they came back is the crazy thing. The Sixers were up by like 16. You're going to put in all that work and still lose because your coach is bad, having Marcus Smart shooting the last shot of the fourth, the last shot of overtime. Okay, I like
Twice.
Marcus Smart. I do, but you're not going to have your all-stars shoot
Yeah,
that shot. You're
yeah,
not going to have your 3-point percentage high. Like it just,
yeah. Brogdon and Derek White were both up there for 3-point percentage. Al Horford had a bad game last year. I have a question. You remember Robert Williams,
mhm,
the guy who was like instrumental to them going to the finals last year? Where's he at? He's
nowhere to be.
averaging 6.5 rebounds per game and nearly 6.5 rebounds per game and 6.5 points per game. He's playing 21 minutes this postseason. And I think some of that is because of him with foul trouble and maybe being out of shape with an injury that began his season. But that's also, again, a reflection on Joe Mazzulla. And you have to wonder, with Al Horford having a stinker last night, over 7 from three, are you going to try to give Robert Williams those minutes? Yes, you're gonna get fouls. You're playing against Joel Embiid, the best big man at drawing fouls in the game in the last 20 years. But you have 6 fouls to give each game, right? Between him and Horford, and then they can run out a third center if they want. I think they have Muscala. That's 18 fouls. You're gonna have to take some. Robert Williams needs to be playing if you want to have even a shot at slowing down Embiid, who after a poor game two, where he was coming back from that injury, has been on fire, averaging over 30 a game since. And we're two of those 3 games wins, right? So I don't know if you're Joe Mazzulla. If you're the Celtics, then you have to try something else. The thing with Jaylen Brown, yes, he's shooting better percentage wise than Tatum. He's not getting the shots down the stretch, which you and I have talked about. But the real problem is, and the reason why maybe they're not calling plays for him, number one, the Celtics don't run plays, which is crazy. But also, you don't know if he's going to take it to the hole or if he's going to turn it over. It's pretty much a 50-50 chance at this point. And this has kind of been his problem. Like
I
his
mean, he's no Jordan Poole,
he's
okay?
no
But
Jordan Poole, but he can't handle, and this has kind of been his biggest knock throughout his career, really. But last year in the playoffs, that was a problem. We talk about Tatum going ghost, and he needs some accountability there. I agree because in the finals, Tatum was to
uh,
blame, but Jaylen Brown is turning it over more than him with a lower usage percentage. So it's really on both of them.
yeah, but Jaylen Brown should not be. You have basically you're running 4 guards in a center most of the time. The
Mhm.
Celtics are, so there's other people that can be handling the ball. Let's again, this falls on coaching. Let's set some plays where Jaylen Brown is cutting a back pick,
Yeah,
whatever, and he has to take 1 or 2 dribbles and
yeah.
can get that layup, or he can spot up shoot. Like let's not. I mean, that's coaching, right? Like you
It
see that,
it
you
is
adjust.
coaching some, but also you see the Jaylen Brown interviews where he's saying, "I want more plays ran through me. Like I want more ball handling responsibility," and it's kind of a combination of several things: coaching, not having play calls, to your point, and then also maybe not immaturity, but maybe lack of awareness on Jaylen Brown's part for his strengths and weaknesses. I know he has kind of wanted to prove over the last year or so that he can be the number one guy. But right now, in the
It's
playoff
like Bradley Bill
situation,
and John Wall is what it reminds me of.
kinda, yeah, or even Jimmy and Derrick Rose for
And
a bit
here's
there.
here's my thing though. This is why I hate Joe Mazzulla. You're not gonna
You hate him.
adjust as a coach. You're not gonna adjust how you play these guys.
Yeah.
Like that is
Like,
that's your one and only job.
did you not just watch the Buck series?
You don't have to play 40 minutes every game. You have to adjust, coach, run plays. They don't run plays. He doesn't adjust. He rarely calls timeouts when they're supposed to be called. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah. No,
I don't.
I'm with you. So you do think that the Sixers will close it out here, going back to Philly?
Yeah, I do. And if they close it out sooner, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Well, that was the next game is in Philly.
Um, West Coast.
West Coast. Where do you want to start? There's a 3-2 series and a 3-1 series.
We'll start with the 3-1 series.
Okay. Are you one of the believers who thinks that the Warriors, they've come back 3-1 before against KD's Thunder? They want their revenge on LeBron coming back 3-1? Or do you subscribe to the idea of the Lakers can put this away? I think that's tonight, right? Game 5?
Maybe. I don't know. It would be poetic justice, but I don't know. Do I want the Warriors to win? Yes and no. I want the Warriors to win on a personal level, but I would rather play the Lakers as a Nuggets fan. AD and Jokic have some history. I think it'd be a great game. I don't know, man. I just don't know. I will not count the Warriors out of anything,
Right.
but 3-1, you got to win 3 in a row against, granted, an old, in Dylan Brooks terms, an old LeBron,
Yeah.
but AD and pieces around that.
Yeah.
I just am not so sure it can get done. And I think I had the Warriors winning this series and I want them to, but 3 in a row is a tall task.
It is, yeah. And to your point, like, yes, LeBron obviously is not the top player of the league like he has been for the last 15 years, but the last few years he hasn't been that. He is still sharp as ever. And I think I was talking to you about in game 4, that fourth quarter, he was just like running down the clock like a quarterback. Like you see the Super Bowl this year, right? What they do, they ran out the clock to win it. So LeBron was running out the clock and searching for the mismatch on Curry because Curry was fatigued because he had been carrying all series, all postseason, and especially in that game, no one else had it going. So he was asking him to, Steve Kerr was asking him to carry the offense. LeBron saw that and said, let me work his on defense. So you had LeBron and you had Lonnie Walker both going straight at Curry throughout the fourth quarter.
And the IQ doesn't go away.
The IQ doesn't go away, right? That's where I was going. Like LeBron is, even like now, he's adding to his repertoire of things to pull out, right, in the postseason. And AD has been pretty good, all things considered, be it still inconsistent. He's been better than any of the Warriors bigs easily throughout this series. And behind Curry, I think the Lakers have had the best probably 3, maybe 4 players in this series. They've had LeBron, AD, D'Lo has been pretty good, and then whoever that fourth guy is for the Lakers on any given night, he's outplaying whoever it is on the Warriors. Like Clay has had an awful series, especially the 2 games in LA. Jordan Poole has been unplayable. Literally, he did not play in the fourth quarter. He was an over in the last game. Gary Payton the second was good, but like if you're asking Gary Payton the second to be your second best player in the playoffs, it's not a good sign. Andrew Wiggins has been fine, but he's not been as impactful as last year. Probably still some mental fatigue or things weighing on his brain from the personal life that he's had in the last 6 months.
But you have three or 4 players that all have like multi-year $100 million contracts.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah,
I only
like
see one right now.
exactly.
And
One of
it's
those
like,
guys that you're paying, whose contract hasn't even kicked in yet until next season, is not playable right now in the playoffs. And Jordan Poole.
and let's be realistic. Steph is 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah,
Like, he's there's not a lot of defense that's going on that's going to be able to stop a 6'9", 240-pound
no,
LeBron James or a
no,
7-foot AD. Like, and the Lakers are bigger. The Lakers have been playing well. The Warriors are not knocking down their threes, but that's why I say I never count the Warriors out.
because
Next
they
game,
easily can.
everybody could be
Yeah,
hitting. Clay could have 40 and a quarter. Like, it doesn't matter,
right.
but
And
that's game to game is the thing. To win three in a row is going to be a difficult feat. Do I think they
yeah,
could do it? Yeah, but I'm gonna have to like switch and say I think the Lakers are just gonna power through.
yeah. Well, here's the hope if you're a Warriors fan. You remember the 3-1 series in 2016 very well against the Cavs. That first couple games when they were up 2-0, Curry was like not making anything. It was your role players. It was Sean Livingston. It was Barbosa. It was Mo Buckets. Those guys were giving you big games. Those guys were giving you the Lonnie Walker games. So if you're a Warriors fan, then you know those guys flamed out, which means the Lakers role players definitely could flame out. The unfortunate thing though is they traded for guys like Malik Beasley, who we haven't even mentioned, I think, in any of these playoff podcasts. Um, you got to imagine he's going to have a good game at some point. So is it going to be against the Warriors? Maybe, maybe not. But I think you have to play with all desperation. I think they do win game 5 tonight in the Bay, or in Oakland now, I guess. And maybe game 6. I'm never going to count out the Warriors either. I still see this going 7,
I
but
was thinking that.
it's hard, bro. Like,
I was
on the
thinking
one
that.
hand, if it's 7 in Oakland, you want to say Warriors, but they lost game 7 in the Bay to LeBron already one time. So it's really hard to tell. I'm still gonna say Warriors in 7. I'm just gonna give a hot take and see what happens. But I Curry's been the best player in this series at the end of the day. So I guess whenever you're unsure, you should always bet on the best player.
I mean, and let's be realistic. How long is AD gonna play well?
True. True.
How long? It's not.
The scary thing though for the Warriors is even though LeBron's played well, you haven't had a LeBron game. He hasn't given you 40 yet.
Not yet. It's only
Okay.
fitting to end with who we're gonna end with.
Suns Nuggets. Suns dropped game 5 last night in Denver. The Nuggies go up 3-2. Big Michael Porter Jr. first quarter. This is your team though, so I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one.
Caleb got a text at like 10:40 that said, "I hate the Nuggets." Go up 15 or 16 in the first quarter, end it halftime up 3. If Devin Booker would have got that shot off a little bit earlier, we would have been tied at halftime. But came out in the third quarter, really punched them in the mouth, got under their skin. Devin Booker is still extremely immature, and it showed. And that's what I can't believe I'm agreeing with him. But Charles Barkley said Devin Booker kept his composure really well in the second quarter at halftime, and he did. And that was like a little worrisome. And then third quarter, we just absolutely lit them up. But we played amazing defense in the third quarter. And the difference between Joe Mazzulla and Mike Malone is the adjustments, is making sure that we do our best. I mean, this is KD and Devin Booker. They're going to get points,
Yeah.
right? Like KD, top 5 shooter ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're going to get points, but we did a really good job of being physical, being tenacious, and just staying with Devin Booker, staying with Kevin Durant. And what I love, Landry Shamet, the trash player he is, decided to get underneath Jamal Murray's skin because he had one game where he scored more than 10 points. Now he feels like he's a big dog. It was a bad decision, my man.
That was a bad decision on Monty Williams' part because You had Jamal is one of those players. A lot of players are like this, but Jamal is someone who looks for motivation. And you take out the only person who could kind of guard him, and you put in Landry Shamet. That's a bad move, man.
It was over. And you could see the frustration just build and build and build. Um, yeah. At halftime, I hated the Nuggets. In the third quarter, I was like, it's good to be a Nuggets fan.
What about
I
Bruce
think
Brown?
Bruce Brown played amazing. I love Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown is a key to this whole thing. And if people don't think that, they're not watching. Bruce
Yeah,
Brown played great. Bruce Brown, twice in a row, I saw a defensive stop go and get the bucket. And what he does is he's a motor and he'll just go, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad for us. But what he did was, I think the Suns went on like a 7-2 run. It was getting close. Bruce Brown just took the ball and went to the cup. And one of the things we did really well, sort of on Monty Williams also for playing Kevin Durant the entire first half, was get Kevin Durant and Devin Booker in foul trouble early.
yeah, yeah. That's I think Jay Skeets of No Dunk said that KD had like the worst 26, 11, and 7 game in NBA history. Like you look at the box score, and honestly, I think this has been the case throughout the series for KD. You look at the box score, except for like game 3, I think it was. Uh, and like KD has good numbers, but you watch him play, and the eye test says this dude's struggling. Like he's not playing well. He's not hitting those Kevin Durant jumpers. It's weird. I think it's a combination of Booker's been incredible this postseason, and maybe he doesn't want to get in his way. Maybe it's coming from the coaching staff, or maybe it's just because it's a new team and he doesn't want to like overshadow. I don't know. But at the end of the day, like you said, KD's one of the best players ever, right? He's in some people's top 10. He's in my top 20 at least. He's one of the best players ever. And he's kind of struggling low key despite having good numbers. And I think Michael Porter Jr. hitting 5 threes in the first quarter kind of got in his head a little bit, kind of rattled the Suns for sure. And Jokic, even though he was struggling at halftime, I don't know if Mike Malone laid it into his stars at halftime or what, but both of them came out on fire, like determined. They were on a mission. Jokic had a crazy third quarter. Did he miss in the third quarter? It was nothing but buckets for both
I
of them.
think it was 4 of 14 at halftime or something like that.
Something crazy. And then he ended up shooting like what 60% or something for the game.
Sounds right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's Jokic style. He had a triple double.
Yeah, he passed
Um,
Wilt for all time triple doubles from the center position in the playoffs. So
yeah,
um
his interview, he said, "Oh, cool,
we're Shaq on the list.
classic Jokic style."
Yeah.
He
Uh
said, "Shaq, times have you done that?"
yeah, that was funny.
No, man. I mean, what can I say? We got to win on the road.
Yeah. Do you think you
I
will?
don't
Game
know.
6.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So far the home team has won every game this series. It's been a great series, honestly.
It has been a great series. I don't. I'm not saying Devin Booker's going to cool off. I think he'll have a big game.
He cooled
I
off a
think
bit last night.
he did. He didn't. His shooting percentage wasn't great. I think KD will have a good game, game 6, but I think those role players may not, which is a bold statement
Yeah, because
because
they're home.
the bench and role players always play better in the playoffs at home.
Yeah.
Um, but I think, I mean, really the Nuggets, I mean, I watch them all the time. So you wouldn't know this if you didn't watch them. But at any point, what we can do and what we should continue to do, MPJ first half, Bruce Brown second half,
Yeah.
right? Like game 1 or 2, KCP. Okay. And then Christian Brown is so, so deceptively good. He played great defense on KD. He played great defense on Devin Booker last game. Um, he's young. He's not that big, but he plays like every coach's dream player, and that's why he gets time over Reggie Jackson, Thomas Bryant, all those guys, you know. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
think I think we'll be okay. AG, has been playing efficient. He's not getting the ball as much,
Yeah,
but he's playing.
AG hasn't been maybe like that borderline all-star we saw early this season, but he's still been good in his role. I want to make this point real quick before we run out of time, but I've said this to you several times. I want to say it on the pod. Christian Brown reminds me a lot of Ayo Dosunmu, and I'm excited for his career for Denver. As long as they keep him around, we'll see. But yeah, I'm with you. I think that the Nuggets can close it out on Game 6. I'm still gonna have this one going 7, but I think, as I said before, I have the Nuggets in 7. It's been a great series. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right. Well, that does it for us for this episode. We will be back next week to talk about the conference finals because every team should be done with their series for round 2. Trevor, anything that you'd like to say to the people before we go?
Go Nuggets, baby.
This man's on his Go Nuggets. I think that's like 4 in a row, but we will holler at y'all soon. As always, peace, love, and pixie dust.